This is Right Side Trader. Today is May 23rd, 2025, and this is my weekly market review where I'm reviewing the Dow 30, that's DIA, on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendation, because as we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading. So please check with your financial advisor, please check with your significant other, and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. All right, let's take a quick look at this chart and see what we see. I'm going to resize this, maximize this, and see what we see. We see a pretty good buying pressure here on this quarterly chart. And all at this time, seeing this big wick here on this chart here, and all, and it's pressed up pretty good. We're getting up, and we're right at pivot here, right at pivot on this higher time frame. So closing above pivot and being above pivot is saying it's still kind of bullish, even though it's turned red on us. We just kind of like wait and see what's happening here, you know. But let's go ahead and go down to this monthly chart and see what we see there. See what's changed up here. Let me change that up and go down here to this monthly chart. On this monthly chart, we are still back. We're still below the 9-10 moving average. The 9-10 moving average being below the 9-10 moving average, that technically means we are in a bear market. You know, when we're below it, when we're above it, we're in a bull market. Right now we're below it, so we're in a bear market. But it is green, and this two candle pattern that is forming here, we got the still is not the end of the month, but that is a bullish harami. The thing is, we will be waiting for it to finish, see how it's going to finish, and then if it does finish like that, we'll be looking for a confirmation candle and looking for it not to actually end up going down here and forming a cancel pattern and all, where I say, oh, that bullish harami didn't work, we didn't get our confirmation green candle up here, we ended up with a red candle down here. You know, so that's the thing that we'll be looking for come next month. And since we are still below the 9-10 moving average, we are technically still in a bear market. So based on your trading plans and your trading strategies, trade accordingly. That's all I really want to say about that. All right, but let's go ahead and go down to a weekly chart and see what we see on this weekly chart. And all on this weekly chart, zoom, 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 zoom. That's all I really need. I just need that last previous high right there, swing down. But here on this weekly chart, we are getting kind of like a piercing pattern. We actually back below the 50 moving average. This is the 50 moving average, this green candle, and we ended up closing below that here. You know, so are we going to get ready to start forming a red leg, going back down and forming a leg back down to the downside and coming back down here close to what you can barely see here is that 200 moving average? Come next week, we will delete this. Come next week, we will be opening below pivot. This is the pivot line right here. So I can see us, we just about closed the gap and all this gap between these candles here on the weekly chart. So we could come down, if we come all the way down here to this support 1 level, that would actually close the gap, and then maybe we'll see our bounce and return back to the upside. Don't know exactly what's going to happen there, but we got to kind of like wait and see. And these are monthly, since we are on a weekly chart, these are monthly pivots that we're looking at this time. As you can see up there, it says monthly pivots. So that's what we're looking at and all. Let me kind of like clear that up where you can see that, and I can right click on these also, show you monthly pivots. So again, being on monthly pivots, we need to actually wait until the end of the month and see what happens, because we could end up, this could pull back and close above this pivot line, and then I will be expecting us to actually reverse this bearish looking pattern right here. But if we end up closing below this pivot line, I would expect us to come on down here at least to the support 1 level here and bounce and all, and see what happens. But that's what I see here on this weekly chart. And let's go ahead and go down to this daily chart and wrap this on up. Let's go down to the daily chart. On this daily chart, what I see here is that, let me back up just a little bit. Boom. I want to back up to here and all. We can see, you know, it faked us out and all. When I say faked us out, we was looking at these highs right here and all, and it barely, let me put a line right here. It did barely get above that. What's the high here? Can I see the high here? I cannot see the high here. on this candle. It does not give me a high here. I cannot see it based on my chart the way I have it set at this time. But I can just put a line right here. That's like 427. We can see that it did get above there, and it might have closed above there, you know, at the beginning of the week. But after that, we ended up right away, 2 days, these two candles. Let me zoom in a little bit now that I've shown that. Because this is the thing. They've started practicing something that I like. Right, Wally showed them something. I mentioned something to him to do, and he started showing that where you have to trust your indicators and trust what you see on the chart. And that's the best. That's all we have. And maybe if you have some inside information, I have that. But we see a bearish looking pattern up here at the top in the right location. We ended up getting confirmation with this candle right here, and all to the downside. And then we ended up with the next day a lower high and a lower low, and we got further movement to the downside with a lower high and a lower low. We almost came down to a support 3 level. That's a S3 level here, and you know, that's where we're at. Come next week, we will be opening, since this is a daily chart, we will be opening below pivot. So again, this thing here can continue to the downside, but I can see here that we have closed the gap and all, and so we're going to be seeing what's going to happen here. And I'll zoom back out a little bit, and that's the gap that we needed to close. So we have to kind of like, okay, my big question is, will this support 1 be enough to give us the bounce? This is a little area where it consolidated at, or will it come all the way down here to the support 2 and give us a bounce? Don't know. It can come all the way back down here to the support 3 level, or maybe a little bit below if it wants to come all the way back down there and fill that gap. Don't know. But that's where we saw good demand down here where this market shot up and shot out back to the upside. We may do that. We do not want to see it coming all the way back down here and breaking this low. We really don't want to see any of this stuff coming down here like what it's looking like it may be doing. And all, since we have already started to the downside and will be opening below pivot. But anything can happen. We can get some great news this weekend, and this market can be up above this top. It can start reversing, and that can happen. But if we don't get any great news or anything special happening, I'm seeing this market pushing back down to the downside a little bit. And that's pretty much it. That's all I really want to share at this time. This is Right Side Trader. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye.